is on my screen and your screen. So again, Nate Hagerty here. Welcome to the 2021 Tax and Accountant Marketing State of the Union. This is a very different kind of presentation than I've ever done. In fact, so different that I wanted to go down the hall in our offices to our special studio setup and deliver to you what I think could be practice changing for you. So a little bit about me in case you have never been a participant in any of our webinars. Golly, I feel so formal in this setup. Josh, do I seem formal? I'm formal. This is the State of the Union, but we're not in, the House chamber. I was the marketing director of a multi-million-dollar firm that grew from just about $50,000 per year in fee-based revenue to a multi-million-dollar practice that spanned 3 states, 15 different market areas, hundreds of employees, and along the way started Tax Pro Marketer as a way to help other CPAs and tax practitioners have that kind of growth in their practice. We are now the foremost marketing agency for tax and accounting professionals in the United States. There are 16 of us. In fact, let me show you the Tax Pro Marketer family on your screen right there. There's 16 of us now, and we continue to grow. We are Digital Marketer Certified Partners, Google Premier Partners, Keep Partners. We're partners with lots of things. We've got all kinds of content certifications as well. And I did want you to know that I've got one of our newest coaches on our team, Josh Howard, who's got years in the sales and marketing industry. He is going to be here in the chat. I did want you to know you are free to ask questions, to put things into the chat, and whether or not we will get to them during this address, I'm not sure. We're budgeting about 45 minutes for this presentation. If you could, by the way, in the chat, just type where you're listening from, who you are, and Josh can say hello to you and just make sure that the sound is coming through and everything's looking good. All right. There you guys are. I'll put that up on my screen a little bit too. All right. Hello, Robert. Hello, Ann. Hello, Stacy. Good to have everybody with you. All right. Northeast Ohio in the house, Nashville, St. Louis, California. My man, Ernie, great to see you. Jeff Campbell, it's so good to see some of our good friends on this webinar. Now, that is a picture of my family, which I put up there to make sure that you understand that I have a lot on my plate, and I could speak lots about it. But let's dive right in, shall we? My fellow tax and accounting professionals, the state of marketing in the tax and accounting industry is kind of weak. But the state of the tax and accounting industry, well, I have 5 things to say. Number 1, can you tell this is a little bit different? I'm enjoying it. Number 1, you and your team, you are tired. It has been the longest tax season spanning since January 2020 to just last week. You and your colleagues, you are tired. And that is okay. It has been so exhausting. Congress made changes to the tax code that affected returns that had already been filed. Hello, can I get a witness? This was crazy town. You are tired. Your staff is tired. Things have been hard. That said, with each one of these points that I'm going to share with you, I want to share with you the opportunity inherent within our state of the tax and accounting industry. And the opportunity, because you and your colleagues are indeed tired, the opportunity is this: client or practice acquisition, baby. And I think you know this. You've probably already seen some of this chatter in tax Twitter and the various places, people selling practices. People want to be done with their business. Can I get a witness? Yes. So, yes, it is an opportunity for you in this environment to gain clients from your tired colleagues. This is an absolutely amazing opportunity right now for you to build a practice of lasting significance because your colleagues are tired. I will tell you this, the fact that you are joining us right now on this webinar and that you are paying attention to this, whether in the recording after the fact, now you are different. You, by very virtue of your being here, you are in the top 1% of the 1% in the industry. Because you are paying attention to this kind of content, you are absolutely poised for a killer 2022 because your colleagues are exhausted. So, I see people saying in there, they want to sell their business. Well, look, we can provide connections. In fact, I have connections to brokers, that sort of thing. Please shoot me an email if that's something that you really are interested in. I can connect you to the right people. That is not what we do here at Tax Pro Marketer, but that is absolutely something that will be available for you who are in acquisition growth mode. All right, so that's the opportunity. Number 2, staffing is now and will be a challenge. You've all seen this. It's not just in our industry, by the way. We all are paying attention to the news, the fact that employment is not coming back even after they've cut off these federal kind of bumps in the unemployment. Staffing is now and will be a challenge. So what is the opportunity there? Well, here's the opportunity. First of all, rolling out later this year, in fact, I don't want to give you the exact date. For Tax Pro Marketer clients, we are going to be creating hiring campaigns and hiring pages that will allow you to screen out various applicants and get you traffic for the purpose of hiring good staff. So we will be in touch with our agency clients about this, but this is something that we are very excited about and are partnering with some smart people in the industry to create those properly. So there's a coming. But here's really where I think the opportunity is for everybody who's watching this. Culture above all. Your employees, you've realized how important they are if you have a team. And maybe some of you know that you need a team. Well, what you need to understand is that the culture of your company absolutely must be up to par. You have got to fight for the hearts and the minds and the lives of your staff. In fact, I did a whole training on this, an office hours webinar a couple months ago in the Tax Pro Marketer members area. I do encourage you to go back and watch that if this is something that you know that you need to work on within your practice. But how you treat your team, how you care for them, and by the way, that's not just about how you pay them. In fact, that's like number 7 or 8 on the list. How you treat your team is going to be so important moving forward. You have got to build a plan to create a culture within your practice. And if you don't do that, you will be left by the wayside as your staff will discover that there's greater and better opportunities out there because there's a ton, because everybody's hiring. So you've got to be paying attention to the culture of your business. All right, number 3, the simple tax return, well, it is becoming a commodity. I think you understand that. A lot of us are seeing this in the industry. So here's the opportunity. Adding additional services and new fee structures to your existing offerings. So just a few weeks ago, I did a specialized webinar with Everspire Financial, and that's one opportunity. There are so many brokers out there that understand that one of the most valuable things that they could find is an accountant, a tax professional with a client base that trusts them and likes them, and I will get to that in a minute. So whether it's Everspire or whether it's any other kind of, ATAX, whatever the broker dealer might be, you have the opportunity to add financial planning services to your practice, whatever that looks like. And I'm not endorsing any particular one when I say Everspire. That's just, we happen to have a webinar with them and Cantor Fitzgerald just a few weeks ago. You could go back into the archives again and watch that as well about 1031 exchanges and Delaware statutory trusts. There's so many ways that you can add additional services and new fee structures, moving your clients to a retainer model instead of just price by the form for return compliance work. Now, a lot of you are hearing me say that, and you say blah, blah, blah. I've heard this before. I am still stuck in my charge by the form ways. look, if this is something that you want to talk about, shoot me an email. I will set you up with various people who can help you make that transition. That is, again, not something that we do here at Tax Pro Marketer, but there are a variety of great information sources that can help you move into that kind of retainer-based model. A lot of you are already there. My contention is that this is where the industry is going, and you've got to get on board with this in some clear way. Not only does it kind of enable you to retain clients who are happier, but it smooths out your revenue throughout the year so that your clients continue to be happy throughout the year, regardless of when the compliance work is done. So even if you just do compliance work, by the way, you can put your clients on a monthly retainer model, and they feel like they're getting a great deal. There's so much to say about this, but because the simple tax return is becoming more and more commoditized, if you do a lot of simple returns, you have got to begin making that shift towards working with clients that are a little higher level. So again, easier said than done. That's what we can help with. That right there is specifically what we help a lot of our clients do through search engine optimization and the variety of marketing campaigns that we talk about, which is not the subject of today. But I am telling you that this is a very important shift that every tax and accounting professional should be considering making, adding additional services, new fee structures, because the simple return is becoming a thing of the past. Now, we all know this. If you're paying attention to Congress, taxation rates are sure to rise. We don't have anything written in stone, and as you probably say to your clients, until the president signs the bill, it doesn't really matter, right? Well, those taxation rates sure are looking like they need to rise based on the deficit levels that we're seeing, et cetera, et cetera. All the whisperings in Congress, the Biden administration is likely to try to make this a priority in the next session of Congress. We will see exactly how this lands and what bills get actually signed, whether it's in the infrastructure bill or what have you. Obviously, this is a lot of a last-minute kind of stuff. I'm going to be bringing on Dominique Molina, the head of the American Institute of Certified Tax Planners, who are right now having their members retreat, and some of our team is there working with some of those clients there. But those taxation rates are sure to rise. And so the opportunity is that, by the way, your clients, your prospects, taxes, and reducing them, avoiding them, will be on the brain for sure. So again, as I mentioned earlier, planning and advisory services will absolutely be in demand, especially among higher income individuals. So if that's a shift that you want to make, it behooves you to learn and whatever source you get it from, whether it's Dominique or other sources, figure out how to add planning to your suite of services. For sure. A lot of you are already doing this, but this is a great opportunity for those of you who are not. Last, clients need you now more than ever. Here at Tax Pro Marketer, we are really gifted at being able to work with a bunch of service-oriented firms. We do a lot in our marketing to repel certain kinds of clients, the ones that are really just seeing their client list as a money piñata, the ones that are really after just the quick buck. We try to repel those kinds of clients because those are not the kinds of CPA firms and tax practitioners and accountants and bookkeepers that we really want the world to have more of. We could do we could create the online marketing machine for those kinds of clients, sure. And it might even be the case that those kinds of clients, there's lots of them, and they would love what we provide because we provide such excellent marketing. But clients need service-oriented tax and accounting professionals now more than ever. Most of you are already in that category because of the very virtue of the fact that you've chosen this profession. I'm telling you, I hear it from my small business owner friends, there is a great need for tax professionals who get it, who put their clients first and aren't just about making a quick buck. That is the opportunity. Now, if that's you, by the way, and if you want to build that kind of firm and you want to put this complete online marketing engine to work on your behalf, look, we make it real easy. It's not the point of this webinar, but you can go to Talk to TPM. Josh can put the link in the chat. Go to Talk to TPM, answer a couple questions, and we will absolutely have a conversation with you, whether it's working with us or pointing you in the right direction. Make sure that that link is clickable there, Josh, and we can have that conversation. All right. Now, I talked about the state of the tax and accounting industry. Now I want to talk a little bit more about the state of online marketing. And that's really what I want to spend most of the time together about today. First of all, it is time to get on the bus. If you are not investing effort, time, energy into online marketing, funds into online marketing, it is past time to do this and do this well. This is, of course, what we are all about here at Tax Pro Marketer. But here's just a few data points so you can understand. Let me move my chat window so I can see this on my screen. Right here on your screen is the most recent data that we have of kind of industry-wide total ad spending. This is just ad spending. This does not take into account search engine optimization, all the different various, website building and all the different ancillary components of building an online marketing engine. This is just ads. So extrapolating between 2020 and 2021, $360 billion is being spent right now over this year on just ads. Billion, okay? This trend is going to continue to accelerate and increase, and you can see the projections for 2024 into the $500 billion level, okay? So that's obviously something we can help you with from an advertising standpoint, but there's so much more to online marketing besides just ads, right? The volume of emails is absolutely rising. Let me make sure that I get this. There we go. But I want you to see this. This is actually a piece of data from Invoca, and this was a recent data point that I found as I was researching kind of what was happening in our industry, in the online marketing industry. And in the move towards search engine optimization and mobile, I want you to see something. The percent of consumers who say they've called after searching for a business. Do you see in the top left-hand corner of your screen that percentage number there? 93% of consumers who are calling an accounting practice, a tax and accounting practice, after searching for that business. Now, a lot of people who have not really done it before, who've not really put effort and energy into search engine optimization, into building a website that actually converts traffic into real relationships and optimizing their Google My Business, they've not seen this data actually in action. Well, let me show you something. This is one of our clients just over a 3-month period during this year. Check out the data from this client. Over 3,000 phone calls in a 3-month period. And if you look on the left-hand side of your screen, you see the proportion of discovery versus direct search impressions. And what you'll notice there is the discovery search impressions is about a little more than 2/3 of the entire impressions that this particular client is getting in the search results for their clients. So extrapolating out that data, those 3,300 plus phone calls that are coming in, 2/3 of those are from prospects. 2/3 of those are from people who are using terms like tax accountant near me or best tax accountant in this one, the Los Angeles area. Okay, thousands of phone calls, from prospects, from the right prospects, over the course of just a few months. All right, and just so you don't think that this does happen to be like one of our kind of highest performing clients. Results are not always equal, right? This is a small town Iowa CPA. Okay, in fact, actually it's not small. It might be Des Moines, but it's a much smaller metro area. Anne, I think she's on here. Say hello, Anne. So Anne, over a 3-month period, again, 900 phone calls, and the vast majority of those, again, from discovery search. Keywords that are not like direct search, where they're not looking for, her particular name. All right, so those kinds of results happen because consumers really are searching for your solutions, and they are taking actions when they do so. It is time to have an omnipresence footprint online, for sure. And if you have not put time, effort, and energy towards that, you've got to start now before busy season begins. And just another kind of data point, another client of ours, #1 on Google for 87 different keywords like, tax help, tax preparation, CPA, accountant, accounting, etc. for their market area. Now, you know that. If you've heard me speak before, you know, obviously I believe in online marketing. But here is some things that I want you to understand that might be a little different from some of the other marketing coaches out there. And that is that relationships of trust right now are everything. The decay of trust in the marketplace is something that we all will have to reckon with. And because of that, we have to understand that the only way that clients really feel like safe and secure handing over their sensitive financial details is if there is trust in that, in that relationship. Trust has to be built. It is not something that you can just immediately get right away. But because of this reality, well, actually, that's slides in the wrong area. Because of that reality, excuse me on the slide order there, we have created over the years this online marketing relationship journey. And it is something that you absolutely need to understand. The stages of this journey you have to go through. You can't skip steps when you actually get a client online now. And that first stage, the awareness stage, I'm not going to go into all of the particulars of what's in each stage of the journey today. That's a topic for another webinar, another day. But the awareness stage is simply when they find out who you are, when they are, figuring out, like they see your website or your Google My Business listing or an ad for your business. That's that first stage. But we're fooling ourselves if we think that is like, the end of the journey when it comes to marketing and practice. No, there is a relationship that has to be built with that prospect before they are comfortable becoming a client. That's why we here at Tax Pro Marketer and other smart marketers, especially in the service professional industry, we've always pushed people towards putting a lot of energy into the second stage, the engagement stage, the engagement subscribe stage. You absolutely have to build systems to build that relationship. It's just like in the real world, relationships, you don't propose marriage on a first date, right? If you do, that's completely weird and awkward. And the kind of person that might say yes to being proposed to on their first date is probably not the kind of person you want to stay married to over many years, right? So the same is true in the online relationship building process in marketing. You've got to do things to have that back and forth relational dynamic. That's why we build some of our email strategies for our clients. That's why you should be building intake campaigns that actually indoctrinate and form that relationship and start a conversation via email with your prospects. That's why every phone call that you receive into your office, you should absolutely get their contact information. So if they don't come in and become a client, you've got that permission to build that relationship so that when they are ready, they do come in. You've got to put effort and energy into the second engage, subscribe stage. Then, of course, once that is done, then you can propose marriage. That is the conversion stage. And there's things that we help you with on that stage. And then, of course, the fourth stage that a lot of people skip, that we'd like you to not ever skip, is the ascension stage. Taking these clients into higher level service offerings, taking these clients from just a client into a referral source, getting great reviews so that they're from that client, so that their friends or complete strangers see the great experience that client has, and it just builds upon itself. That's the ascension stage. All right. Oh, by the way, this is best done over email, and I found this stat of companies who have seen more engagement with email marketing over the past few months. Check out the numbers on that. We do a weekly email on behalf of our clients, and we've got a few different content tracks. 2 at a minimum. We've got 3 or 4 kind of different focuses. We have small business owners. We've got 1040 clients. We've got a resolution content track. We've got sort of a bookkeeping and advisory services track as well. But really, we advise 1 or 2 per week. But the ones that are seeing greater engagement, look at how many. 15%, more than 8 emails a week. Now, I don't recommend that, but I want you to understand that email, by the way, is like the hot new thing in marketing. All the top marketers right now are driving more and more people to email and putting more and more effort into effective email marketing because they understand that this is where relationships are really built, is in the email inbox. Because I mean, there's a lot of reasons why that might be the case. My contention is that it's the least noisy environment of any kind of marketing media that there is. On a browser environment, there's everything is a click away. Cat videos, political arguments, whatever it might be, news sources. But in the inbox, yeah, you can still click away from that email. But you've got we've got the one focus of that prospect, and you've got to do a good job there. All right. Oh, look at that. Jeff said he's, that's hilarious. Been with my wife for 43 years, and I did propose on our first date. That is amazing. Thank you, Jeff, for that. All right. Here's another thing that I'm seeing in the state of online marketing. The hype artists are getting exposed. And you know what I'm talking about, and you probably know some of whom I am referring to in our industry. Their act is getting stale. And it's not just within our industry that their act is getting stale. It's getting stale industry-wide. Here's what I mean when I refer to these hype artists, or what I call newsfeed gurus. People who come in with their 3-step system to add $100,000 to your monthly bottom line, blah, 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 blah. And they promote based on greed. They promote based on base level emotions. Here's the thing, is that the marketplace is getting tired of that kind of marketing. The marketplace is getting saturated with it, and it is something that most service professionals that care probably want to steer clear from. They are getting exposed, and it's not just me, okay? 96% of iOS 14 users have opted out of Facebook tracking. Why? Because not only are they aware of the kind of the creepiness of being followed all over the place, but it's the advertising. It's the advertisers who are driving people away from connecting all of their apps and the third-party cookies tracking them across the internet because they're tired of getting assaulted by these hype artists. One of the things that I like to say, when I speak to people is just because you can doesn't mean you should. There are plenty of hypey scam artists out there who can give you, the 3-step, neuro-linguistic programming trick to get prospects to just, whip out their card magnetically and just give you their money. My contention is that the kind of business that you want at its core is one that you are going to be proud of, that serves clients well. Now, of course, we can still speak to emotion. We can still speak to benefits. We still, can write great sizzling copy, of course. But the things that we actually appeal to should not be over-promising and under-delivering. And I am tired of seeing too many tax and accounting professionals fall for those kinds of schemes. So we've made a commitment over many years to back up our promises, to make sure that we staff up and are actually delivering on the things that we say that we can deliver on, and building an excellent core service offering to make sure that when we say that we can get you phone calls, that we get you phone calls. Because I want to build a business. In fact, I had a team meeting with my team this morning, and I was speaking to them, and I was saying, each one of them gives me integrity. I have my own personal integrity, but the excellence of their work and the way that they care for and take care of our clients, is really at the end of the day what I live for and what you should be living for. And from an online marketing standpoint, goodness, there are so many little levers you can pull, so many black hat strategies, software gaming software like game the system strategies that you can use. At the end of the day, you want to build a business that lasts. Those strategies keep getting slapped down by the algorithms, by Google, all the different various online marketing kind of platform companies. They are quick to detect when people are gaming the system, and that's just not who I think you want to be. So if that's something that you agree with, then good, get on board. But because of that, it is harder and harder to execute effective marketing. That's just facts. Because of the huge explosion, especially in the last 18 months with COVID and so many virtual, businesses moving virtually, it's getting harder and harder to execute effective online marketing because it's getting more and more crowded. In fact, just a recent keynote by Ryan Deiss at the Digital Marketer Traffic and Conversion Summit, an old friend of mine, he pointed this out, the ad prices that are skyrocketing across various platforms because there's more and more and more competition. It's hard to get good results. Just for us, for our clients, this actually isn't a fully complete list of all that we do on behalf of our clients on the back end, all of the different softwares that we are using to build the kind of online marketing machines to kind of, you've seen if you've been around us for a while, what we call our digital dominance method. Now, what you need to understand is you actually don't need to use all of this software that I've shown you, on the previous screen. Whoa, there we go. On the previous screen. There it is. Little delay in my clicker. You don't need to use all of this software to have effective marketing. You just need to have a few things in place. And what we've done recently is we put together a checklist for you. And so this is a 59-point lead flow acceleration checklist just to get a little flavor of what you have in place. If this is something that you would like to get a hold of, just type the word checklist into the chat, and I'll have Josh just send that to you over email, okay? So just put the word checklist in the chat in some way, and we'll send that to you so you can get a little flavor of how your marketing is doing, what you might need to put into place, and we can point you the way to make sure that that's something that you can pull off very easily. So it's a very simple one-page checklist that you can look at, that you can build off of to build an effective online marketing machine. Okay, so just put that in the chat. Looks like a lot of you are doing that. Type that into the chat. All right, so with the crowded marketplace, the hype artists getting exposed, the need for the relationships of trust, and the importance of digital marketing, Ryan Deiss, at that same event that I just cited to you, and you might have seen the slide earlier, he said that we're in a post-digital era. And that's because digital marketing has become so common and so important, frankly, that we've got to go back to the fundamentals of real effective marketing to win now. Because so many people are doing it, we've got to go back to the fundamentals. And what those fundamentals are is this: market, message, and media. Very simple. And I'm going to bring you through a very short exercise here at the end of this presentation for you to be thinking about for your practice, so you can, whatever kind of technical wizardry we might do on your behalf, or you're working on the back end in your practice, it's got to have the fundamental understanding of effective marketing at its core. And that is market, message, and media. The market simply is the who. The message is what is the conversation going on in the mind of that particular target market. And I'm going to tease out that target market here in a moment. And then the media simply becomes how. Now, most people get the order of those three things wrong. They realize they need to do digital marketing. And so what do? They just hire some rando digital marketing agency, or they get their nephew's uncle's roommate. I guess that would be your roommate. That's funny. Yeah. They get their nephew's friend's roommate's cousin. How about that? There we go. That's way better. That's what I'm looking for. to create a website, to build a social campaign for them, and they start with the media, and they don't have clarity about the message or the market, and they just start with, I've got to run some ads, I've got to build a digital marketing machine, and they haven't thought through the fundamentals of the other two components of it. So I want you to, right now, think deeply and clearly exactly who is your ideal client. Now there's, tons and tons of people on this webinar right now. Tons of people who are watching this probably after the fact. So I can't, I'd be kind of shooting in the dark to give you one that is going to work for everybody. I've done my best to do this, and I have brought some of you through this exercise before. But your target client, I would like you to see it. I'd like to see you have it be even more specific than what I'm about to bring you through. Whether it's an industry niche, whether it's a localized component of a local slice with a particular kind of demographic profile, exactly who is your ideal client. Now, what I want you to think about is that it is very likely that you are not your target client. A lot of tax and accounting professionals, they do their marketing, they position their firm in a way that would appeal to them. And they don't realize that that's not the majority of their actual target client avatar. Now, if you run an accounting firm for other accountants, great. But the chances are good that your client type is a little different. Now, some of you, again, inherently get this, and you've built your marketing. And this is something absolutely we can talk you through on a phone call. But you have to be able to see John Jones, i.e. your target client, through John Jones's eyes so you can sell what John Jones buys. That is important. So what we're going to do at the end of this, for the time that we have remaining, I'm going to bring you through what this looks like to understand your target client. Because again, this is the fundamentals of marketing that you absolutely have to understand now, because the digital marketing space is so crowded. You've got to understand these fundamentals. So let's just pick a demographic. Let's just say it's a business owner. They've got about $200,000 of revenue. That means they're a slightly established business, but they're in a growth mode, right? They're starting to figure out that they need some financial guardrails in place because money is starting to flow into that business. Now, it could be male or female for the purposes of this conversation, and let's just say $75,000 of household income, whether that's from the business or spousal income, whatever it might be, or maybe they're unmarried, whatever it is, but $75K. So they're like, oh, they're doing fine, but they're not, feeling rich. Okay, this is a lot of business owners out there. So what I've put together is on this slide, and Josh can also get you the slides for this. In fact, why don't you slap those into the chat, a link to the slides so people can have this. So what I want you to work through is your avatars, your target clients' goals and frustrations, okay? So on the left side of your screen, you're seeing negative kind of emotions, realities, okay? On the right side, you're seeing positive emotions and realities. There, Josh put that, a link to download the slides, okay? So let's start with the negative, because that's frankly where most people live, okay? So the pains, the top, by the way, are the short term. The bottom are the long term on that quadrant. So the pains of this business owner, John Jones, probably too busy to watch the numbers because they're too busy doing the thing, right? But he knows that he's not bringing home the income that he believed that he should. Doesn't probably have good cost controls in place, and is probably spending too much and is kind of annoyed by that, but doesn't really have great clarity on how to do that aside from just scrunching up and not spending too much, right? Probably been burned by previous accountants, whether they just treated him like a number or they didn't really actually care about his business or his life. He feels like he's probably overpaying taxes, but is definitely not sure why. And he's just frustrated, okay? Longer term, deeper fears and implications of these kind of immediate things, he's really deeply afraid of not ever growing from the stage that he is. and maybe eventually even losing his livelihood, maybe getting ripped off in his business dealings, having to, in terms of relationship with an accountant, having to pester his accountant, all right, for any updates about it, having to fire trusted staff because of a revenue, decrease. So these are sort of the negative kinds of things. There's so many more that we could go through, by the way. I mean, you could put some in the chat if you've got a good clarity on this that might be useful for other people to see. But look, I mean, guys, this is just one. I see Jeff is saying my ideal client is $500,000 AGI minimum. That's awesome. So do this exercise for your ideal client, Jeff, okay? Anybody else, insert your ideal client and write this stuff down. Think about the immediate stuff that they might be feeling on a day-to-day basis and their long-term kind of fears and implications of this, okay? All right. Now let's talk about their positive things. Maybe their short-term goals and desires, right? They want to have a good system in place to know their numbers. Now you'll notice that I'm positioning these in light of your services, right? They don't want to have to worry about profit, okay? They probably are tired of doing the bank balance accounting, but they want that profit to be there every month, right? Of course. They don't want to have to think about finances too much. Most business owners, you probably know this, most entrepreneurs kind of hate having to deal with the numbers and the money. Now, obviously there's exceptions. I'm just saying this is like broad-based strokes. Whatever it is for your target client, think about it in that way. They definitely wants more money, wants to live in a nicer house, definitely wants kind of like respect and approval of friends, kind of thrives off of the identity of being a business owner. They also really love being able to hire their friends or like their friends' children so that they can be like that respected person in, the marketplace. They love that, okay? So those are some of the kind of immediate things they experience on a day-to-day. In terms of long-term, they want to be able to save a lot on their taxes. They can want to have the bragging rights, and especially, when it comes to retirement, they want to be the smartest person in the room. Like these are deeper level kind of desires that these folks have as they relate to engagement with your services. This isn't just all of their desires, right? But they want that financial security. They want to retire probably at a relative young age. They want to have financial and otherwise independence. And kind of be able to build a business that doesn't necessarily need them to be a slave to it, right? They want to have peace of mind knowing that they're not going to get audited, or if they do, they've got somebody in their corner. They want to have peace of mind knowing that their business can operate profitably without them having to push too hard. And deeply, if they've got children, they want their children to grow up healthy, happy, successful, maybe have them into their business, okay? So are you seeing these are sort of the more fundamental components of your target client, of their persona, and that if your marketing doesn't speak about these kinds of realities, and there's so many more, there's so many deeper ones, and we can get more specific depending upon your niche. If you're not speaking about these on a real way, on a regular basis to your list, then you're going to have problems. And our goal here at Tax Pro Marketer is to help you build this kind of marketing messaging for your practice. So once you've got an understanding of those things, then you can create the message. And then once you've got the message, then we can look at the media. But the messaging, you just need to answer these basic questions. Why should someone choose to do business with you versus the competition, right? The unique selling proposition is, I think Eugene Schwartz, way back in the day, coined the phrase. It's so important to understand the answer to that question. And it's not just because, I can save them on their taxes. Why should they want to work with you versus any and every other, competitor in your space? So what benefits do you offer that your target client avatar will actually resonate with at a deep level? Those are the things that you should be thinking about in your messaging. All right, and lastly, from a media standpoint, my belief is we should keep it simple, stupid, okay? Now, what I did when I ran the marketing for the large multi-office practice is we had just 3 categories, and we had different strategies for each of these categories. And, I could go on, I actually have 90-minute webinars breaking down each of these, these different categories of existing clients, lost clients, and new clients, and kind of how different online marketing strategies can reach each of these people. I'm not going to do that today. I just want you to think about having a strategy for each of these kinds of clients, existing clients. This is really, I'll just kind of give away some of what I talk about. This is why we do email nurture marketing on a weekly basis for our clients, to make sure that you build that top of consciousness relationship, so you're doing more than just sending them an organizer and just sending them some quarterly reminder about estimated taxes or whatever it might be for your particular kind of practice. You've got to build that relationship of trust over time because, by the way, pointing you back to the beginning of this presentation, because of the increased commodification of the simple returns and even some of the more complex AI driven solutions out there that can do some of the bookkeeping and a variety of other services that some of you might be providing, the way that you will get through that is when you've got a relationship built on trust and affection, where your clients know and they like you, not just trust you, but they know you and they like you. And because you've communicated in a personalized way over email, that is the way to ride through whatever kind of AI-driven shenanigans are coming down the pike, okay? So that's your existing clients. Your lost clients, this is, again, a great place for email marketing. But even more than that, you can do direct appeals to lost clients. You can see that, if a client didn't come back a year or 2 years, a lot of us in our industry, we believe it's because we might have done something wrong, or we screwed up a return or some sort of books or what have you. Now, in some cases, that might be the case. But could it be that they might be ready to come back to you and you just don't even realize it? Could it be that all they need is for you to say, hey, we miss you. Would you come back? You had a problem with XYZ. We've done this, ABC to fix it. We'd love to have you back as a client. We'd be honored to serve you. Just by the very act of asking, you might slurp up a ton of your former clients. But a lot of us, we're too insecure, we're too afraid to actually do the asking that we don't do it. Now, when I ran the marketing for our firm, we had like a $400,000 yearly marketing budget. And we would break down all of our different campaigns and different things that we were doing on a spreadsheet to kind of evaluate ROI. And by far, every year, the most valuable campaign that we did, the best return, was when we just directly reached to lost clients, ones that had not used our services in some X amount of period of time. So do that, put that into place. And then, of course, new client acquisition. That is exactly what we do here at Tax Pro Marketer. That is why we have built our digital dominance method. That is a huge component of what we do, of course, as well as the existing client marketing and even lost client marketing. I've got story after story of our clients keeping their former clients on their email list and their former clients coming back after many, many months or even years, returning to that firm because they stayed in front of them. All right, so again, I'm not going to go into the particulars of how to market a practice. That's going to be future conversations that we might have. This is, the digital dominance method is something that we've honed over years. If you want to have a conversation about that or about anything as it relates to marketing your practice, go to talktotpm.com, answer some of the questions that are on the screen there. It'll take you to a calendar. And if you've already requested the checklist or you've already requested, anything else, the slides or what have you, maybe you didn't get those yet, then we can get those to you in that conversation. We could go over them as well. But I also want to offer you an audit report that if you are interested in having us take a look at your online marketing, all you need to do is type the word audit in the chat. And this isn't kind of like the IRS audit. This is where we will actually reach out to you, get your information, build you a report, a blueprint report of your online marketing, go over that with you, whether or not you are one of our agency clients. So just type audit into the chat if that is something that you would like us to take a look at what you are doing from an online marketing standpoint and give you feedback on. Just type that into the chat. All right, any questions that you might have, please feel free to email me, Nate@taxpromarketer.com. Josh can maybe put that into the chat as well. Feel free to email me. Every email that comes across my desk, I get. I don't just siphon it off to my assistant, but I want to thank you for joining us for this very special presentation. We've had a lot of interest, a lot of people. I'm not sure that if I'll do it from the studio in the future, but it's been kind of fun. Maybe I will. But thank you again for joining us, and we will see you in 2022.